This is a spot where my rear fender attaches, and the bolts have turned out, broken away. This is the patch for that. It had some rust as well around it, so I built the whole patch, and it was just as easy to take and put a bolt and a nut on, and then weld the nut on, and then that will quite simply fit in there. TIG weld that on, and you've got your bolt holes covered. We'll be putting that on next. I've also got another one up in here I'm going to have to contend with. I might be able to reach from behind to weld the nut on. I'll have to check that out. And then there's this mess in the corner that I've got to contend with. I'll have to create a patch in here. I want to go a little further because I got holes back in here. So I'll have to create a whole patch here and figure out where the holes got to go to weld that thing in, which was for the leaf spring shackle. And I've got a little bit of rust to contend with here that winds up in this folded over flap. I'm guessing that was supposedly so the tires wouldn't get cut or something. I don't know why they'd fold them over like that. It turns them into dirt collectors, which means that's where it's going to rust. Anyway, I'm going to get on to welding in that patch. Gotta have a plug weld hole. That was a nice dab. Don't like doing that. That's tacked in place, but I've got some weak spots in here. I've noticed a couple of pinholes, and it's also weak there, so I'm going to have to cut back further here to get out of the rusted zone and patch that up. So anyway, this is the basic concept of getting a nut welded in place. So I'm going to carry on doing a patch in here. It'll probably be a square patch with a nut hole in there, and I'm not certain if I got to put the fender on to find out where the hole is or not, but it could be tack a piece of metal in there, find the center of the hole, and cut it off again. we'll see how it goes. This is where this little beast shines for getting into tight spots, cleaning up welds and stuff like that. Now I'm taking out this section. It was a whole lot easier just to cut out the whole joint panel there and make a little piece rather than trying to separate it. Separate the spot welds on this. So that's the way I went with it, and I'm going to carry on. This hole. Now I've found rust holes in this part. I've also noticed that I've got a rust hole here, so I'm going to have to go the same route as I did with the front and take this whole flange off and rebuild it in two pieces. particularly want to disturb the nut holes on the plate that's in behind holding this bumper thing together on. Yeah, that's not really too solid. I'm gonna have to fix that too. Dang. And what I do is cut it a little wide and then use the angle grinder to shape it to a precise fit. This is just a guesstimation. Hopefully larger than needed, but okay, I can't do the bending right in front of you here, so a little bit at a time. Yeah, it had some wide gaps around there to fill in because I didn't quite have the right hole saw. It required a 30 mil and I had 1 1/8 and a file. So couldn't get it quite right, and my measurements from here to there and from here to there weren't quite on center, so it was a little bit off. I had to fill it up. It's not horrible. And the rest of it's tacked in and ready to go. Just finish off the welding and that's done. And the interesting is, I'm going to be putting that drivetrain into there, which could be fun, because preliminary measures tell me that I got 3 feet across there for the engine and transmission, and I have 32 inches from here to there, so this is probably going to have to move, and who knows, I may have to build a whole nother subframe for it, but we'll see what comes of it. Bye for now.